staci, stasho, háčim staci. Hi, hi, hey, ya, ho, ho, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Hi, hi, hey, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci, manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci. Hi, hi, hey, ya, ho, ho, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Hi, hi, hey, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci, manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci. Hi, hi, hey, ya, ho, ho, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Hi, hi, hey, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci, manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci. Hi, hi, hey, ya, ho, ho, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Hi, hi, hey, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci, manku ai, háčim staci, stasho, háčim staci. Hi, hi, hey, ya, ho, ho, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho. Hi, hi, hey, oh, hi, hi, hey, whoa, ho, ho.
That was a Clallam welcome song. I'd like to say, Hudson-san, thank you for coming. We started off at John Wayne Marina, planning to paddle out to meet the other canoes that were coming in from Port Townsend for the landing at Jamestown Beach. Now, it wasn't too bad in the marina, but once we got outside of the marina, it was a bit foggy. We got about halfway to Jamestown when people started noticing that it was getting real shallow real quick. There was a couple of times we actually had to back up and turn a little bit to get into deeper water. We got pretty good at finding shallow water, as you'll see later on. The tide was at the lowest that I'd ever seen it. But it was pretty foggy and hard to see, and we heard that two canoes had run into trouble. One had overturned, and another one had gotten swamped. We saw the Coast Guard towing one of them back to John Wayne Marina. Everybody was rescued and was okay. A little hypothermia. They spent a couple hours, I guess, in the water. But they were able to join us all later on. Once we got out to the edge of the landing area, there were about 30 canoes anchored waiting for the tide to come in. When the tide did come in, they looked at us, said, we'll follow you, like we knew where shore was. The support boat had gone, and the skipper did have a compass, so we knew, which direction to go for land, but not the beach landing for Jamestown. As it turned out, I had my handheld GPS, so that got us going in the right direction. It was just a fun adventure in the fog. Here's a quick little video of what it was like for us when we got to the Jamestown landing.
You must have knew a shortcut they didn't know. So we welcome you. You know you had a good pull today. I'm sorry that the fog was out there and it made it a little more difficult. We trust it'll be a better pull when you move on to Lower Elwha tomorrow. Today, Jamestown has food and a good place to rest your bodies and your spirits. song and dance to renew your spirit as you continue on your journey to Quinault Nation. We welcome you. We welcome you. Our elders are here. Our council is here. Our children are here to welcome you to come ashore and rest your spirit. Come ashore, my brothers and sisters.
The next morning, we almost had to carry the canoe out to the water. Being the hosting tribe, we were the last to leave. The tide started to go out before we could go, so again, we were skimming along in shallow water. This time, it wasn't just thick fog that we had to paddle through. It was windy, and the water was rough, and we hadn't even gotten out, into the straits yet. We were about halfway to the Dungeness lighthouse when we heard that another canoe had turned over in 4-foot swells. When we saw Charlie Brown heading back the other direction for John Wayne Marina, our skipper decided not to risk it. If an experienced fishing captain thinks it's too dangerous, then a canoe of elders had no business attempting it. We had our support boat tow us back to John Wayne Marina. We would all rather be safe, than risk dumping the canoe. So we put the canoe on a trailer and went to the boat launch in Port Angeles. It was only a little over a mile to Hollywood Beach from there, but we still had thick fog. No problem. We just stay close to the shore and we'll be, fine, right? Well, you see, the route took us past the Victoria, BC ferry pier. As we came close to it, some Coast Guard vessels came by us. They said something over the loudspeaker about, we couldn't quite make out what they said. It sounded like step on it. That was all I got. A few minutes later, we see this huge black mass coming out of the fog. What they said was step on it. The ferry's heading in fast. So we did. We pulled hard for about 3 or 4 minutes and got safely past the ferry landing. As they went by us, we gave them, the people on board, a paddles up salute and a cheer. They waved back and took pictures. We arrived at Hollywood Beach and then busted into the lower Elwha for 2 days of rest before heading for Clallam Bay. So here's a short video of our arrival at Hollywood Beach.
Jamestown, Clallam. It's very good to arrive. This is our sister Clallam tribe. They don't need to ask permission to come ashore in Clallam territory. We're glad you're here, relatives.
The weather reports and tides looked real bad for the 25th of July, so we decided to trailer the canoe and take it up to Pillar Point in the morning to catch the tide an hour earlier. So we went back to Hollywood Beach and we got in the canoe and paddled from Hollywood Beach back to the boat ramp. Unfortunately, the water was real rough and the wind was blowing real hard. As we paddled past the public pier, 2 people were telling us to be careful because the water was really rough on the other side of the pier. Now, this was not a good thing to say because those of us who were first-timers got a little fearful of the conditions. And there was a couple of times when the canoe did get rolled pretty good. But the minute the skipper started singing the pull song, all that fear and uncertainty just disappeared. Suddenly we were all singing, laughing, and having a good time. We even took a tour of some of the freighters that were, moored along the way there. It gave me the inspiration to write a story about the power of song. So here's that story, and I'll give you a chance to read it. Well, we got up around 2 a.m. and set out for Clallam Bay. The fog was thick and the tide was still out, so again we were skimming shallow water and couldn't see more than 100 feet in front of us. About 300 yards from the beach, we started to see seagulls standing, not floating. It got real shallow real fast, and the next thing we know, the skipper is running alongside of us in about 4 to 6 inches of water. We had to get out so the canoe would float and push it for about 50 feet into deep water. Then we had to get out far enough to meet up with the support boat. On our way out, we passed a fishing boat and they yelled, "Welcome to Canada!" But once we got into deep water, we anchored and gave the support boat our GPS coordinates. And when they got close, they'd blow their horns so we could figure out where they were and follow it. From there, it was an easy run up to Clallam Bay. The water was smooth, about 1 to 2 foot swells. We couldn't see land, but we made it up there without any real problems. The morning of the 26th, we woke up to a drop dead gorgeous day. The sky was clear and the fog was gone, and the water looked calm. The surf was a little bit high, and getting out was going to be a challenge. Now we stood there and counted the waves, and it seemed like after about every ninth wave, it would calm down for about 3 more waves. So as soon as the skipper said go, we were off. Now he told us to start pulling as soon as we got into the canoe. So as we pushed the canoe into the surf, we would jump in, and as soon as we got into deep water, we would start, pulling hard. By the time I got in, we were moving so fast the skipper had to jump in head first. Now the waves would pick up the bow into the air, and the ladies up in the bow would just laugh and giggle. Once we got past the surf, it was smooth sailing all the way up to Neah Bay. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful. The swells were only between 1 and 3 feet, I'd say, and far enough apart that we moved right along. The tide was with us as well, and the support boat had to work to keep up with us. They would put their fishing lines out every chance they could, and we could tell when they needed, because when we needed to have a potty break or wanted to stop for lunch, they had to pull up their lines and catch up to us. Sometimes we would eat on the fly. The first two would eat while everyone else paddled, and then they were done, the next two would eat, and so on down the line. Didn't lose any time that way. With the fog gone, we could finally see land. And what a beautiful sight. We also saw many animals like porpoises, seals, eagles, and a whale. We even pretended we were hunters and did some hard pulling to catch up to it. Now, of course, it was coming towards us and it was close to shore. I mean, we didn't really come real close to it, probably 200-300 yards maybe. We didn't want to get too close. I mean, it was much bigger than us, and for a bunch of elders, we did pretty good. It stayed nice until we got to the entry buoy into Neah Bay. We hit a riptide there, and that slowed us down quite a bit, and it took some work. But we did make it okay to the beach, and when we went to protocol, we had to paddle around the tall ships. That's where they met us, was there in Neah Bay. And I mean, what a sight! From a tiny canoe looking up to these sailing ships, it was awesome. I wish I had a helmet cam because it's hard to describe. And like I said, I can't pull and shoot at the same time. So we paddled around the ships a little bit just to look them over. And we didn't find out until later that we could have actually come aboard and taken a tour, but that's okay. Maybe we can do it some other time. It was just absolutely beautiful seeing them sitting out there, and it was like looking right into the 18th century because it was the way they were parked. You couldn't see any buildings or anything modern behind them, so it was pretty impressive. But we stopped at the beach. They did what they call a soft landing, where we kind of gather and then we go from there over to where they actually do the protocol, the arrival, where we ask permission to come ashore. And there was quite a few canoes by this time. There's probably well over 100 of them. And so they kind of did 4 of them at a time. And that way, otherwise we've been sitting there for hours. So here's some video of the protocol and where we ask permission to come ashore and they do the blessing.
We came over from Clallam Bay. It was a nice morning, wasn't it?
Good morning. After we were just like this, just the way the water is now. That's all we got just out here. Water started out.
It was nice.
Well, we couldn't choose. We'll have. Let go, let go.
We are the Jamestown Clallam. We travel in our canoe háʔnəŋ, one of the 7 brothers of the house of Clallam, of whom we are descended. For the past 3 days we have traveled along the periphery of Clallam land. We began at Jamestown and we visited Lower Elwha and Clallam Bay, mostly in the fog. But today we began our journey early this morning with the moon shining on us and then the sun. The waters were calm. We could see land for the first time from our canoe, as well as whales, porpoises, seals. We feel it is a very auspicious day to come to Makah territory. Please, may we come ashore, and we would love it if you would feed and entertain us.
next day, the weather went sour on us. The Coast Guard said there were 10 to 12 foot swells and heavy winds. Only the strongest and fastest canoes would be allowed to make the journey around the point into the Pacific Ocean. That was too bad. The skipper wanted to land on an island to have lunch, the furthest west you can go and still be in the continental United States. This also meant that we would be bypassing the Ozette landing. It would put us into La Push a day early. So we trailered up the canoe and hit the highway. The next day, we launched the canoe and took a paddle up the Quinault River for a tour and then went out to the entrance of the bay. The tall ships were there, and they were anchored off of First Beach, and they were really rocking pretty good. I think it's probably up to about 4 foot swells and high winds. We wanted to go, paddle out to the ships for a tour, but it was just way too rough for us. And we heard that 2 canoes had rolled coming down from Neah Bay. All were picked up, and only one had to go to the hospital for hypothermia. He'll be okay. Now, 2 other canoes got damaged when their support boat smashed into the bow during heavy swells. Just broke the bow right off. Now, we leave for the Hoh River on the 30th, and the Coast Guard reports, 1 foot swells and 10 knot winds, so that isn't too bad. We can do that. So the next part of the videos here shows our landing, coming into La Push, and it also shows the tall ships out as they're rocking back and forth, so you can kind of get an idea just how rough it was out there.
Gilda, tell Roger this is another Jamestown slalom. You'll be speaking to Roger Jackson up here.
Today is a good day. We are the Jamestown
Oh, we had 3 very nice days to rest up and recoup while we got ready for the next part of the journey. And just kind of give you an idea of what it's like when we first pull out. We always sing a song to get started, and everybody gets in a good mood. And so here we are on our way to the Hoh River, leaving La Push. Yeah.
That might be where the
Say aloha. Shall we? We'll yell. I'll yell. Whoop, whoop, hoo hey,
Hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop,
hoo hey,
hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop,
hoo hey,
hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop,
hoo hey,
hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop.
no, sorry.
Sorry.
Whoop, hoo hey,
Hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop,
Scott hey,
hey, whoop,
whoop,
hey,
hoo hey,
whoop,
whoop,
hoo hey.
hoo hey.
Great day,
Great day.
on our way,
On our way.
Hoh River Bay,
Hoh River Bay.
Hoo hey,
Hoo hey.
whoop,
Whoop.
hoo hey,
Hey.
whoop,
Whoop.
hoo hey,
Hoo hey.
whoop,
Whoop.
happy,
Hoo hey.
whoop,
Hoo
lucky day,
Whoop.
hoo hey,
Whoop.
hoo hey.
The pull song is mainly to get everybody, into the rhythm and have a good time with it, because you call out somebody else's name and somebody always messes up, so you get to laughing and giggling about it. So we're on our way to the Hoh River, and there was one small problem, along the way. One of the Hawaiian canoes broke the bar that goes out to the outrigger. I don't remember what they called it, some kind of a joint. But they towed it in with their other canoe, because they had 2 canoes there. The people were transferred to a support boat because it was dangerous, and they had a replacement, so it wasn't any real problem. But we had to make sure that we got to the Hoh River on time, because there was a wedding to go to, and it just so happened that the passenger on our canoe was the groom, so we had to make sure he got there on time, which we did. And it was a beautiful wedding. Interesting story with them. They met 11 years ago at a canoe journey. Her canoe had gotten flipped over, and he was one that pulled her out of the water and gave her his dry clothing, and that's how they met. And 11 years later, they decided to get married. So it was a great trip. The fog wasn't too bad. We were able to see land the whole direction, and we saw all kinds of wildlife. So here's a little bit of the trip, to the Hoh River from La Push. And the wedding, of course. I got some video of the wedding as well.
Supported, didn't they?
Yeah, if that thing cracks, we're gonna roll over.
Okay. Alrighty.
next day we headed out of the Hoh River for Queets. As it turned out, it became one long day because by the time we got to Queets, the surf and riptide were so dangerous 6 canoes had gotten flipped over. We heard that a total of 12 of them ran into trouble. Our ground crew even watched as one skipper who was standing up got thrown 20 or 30 feet up and into the water when a wave hit his canoe. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, and we decided not to risk it and go on the additional 20 miles to Quinault. We paddled for about 5 or 6 hours, then had the support boat tow us most of the way, and then paddled another hour to reach Quinault. We saw all kinds of animals on this trip. We even passed an island with hundreds of elephant seals. I mean, what a racket. We could hear the noise of their grunting and roaring for a mile. The support boat, of course, couldn't hear it over their engines, but those of us who were sitting in the canoe, we could hear it, and it made quite a racket. We watched an eagle scoop up a duck and fly off with it. I tried to get the camera out as quickly as I could, but didn't quite get it all, but I got a little bit of it. Also, one of the support boats that kind of looks like a landing craft that had 2 canoes on board had an electrical fire. They had to get everyone off and the canoes off, and the Lady Washington, being our escort, she came over with her water cannons running full blast just in case the fire got out of control. Our support boat went over to help, and as much as they could. It was put out very quickly, and it wasn't really any major damage, but still, you had to get everybody off. And I did get a real good picture of the Lady Washington with her water cannons going. That was pretty impressive. I don't think they had those back in the 1800s, but it was pretty impressive anyway. There was also a medical emergency on one of the canoes as well. Our support boat went to help get the person transferred to the Coast Guard's vessel. Not sure exactly what the problem was, but we did hear on the radio that the person did have a heart condition. What actually happened, I don't know. And not all the canoes had support boats. When we got to Quinault, the surf was pretty big. As we got close, I saw a big wave coming in behind us, and I yelled, let's catch this one, and we all pulled hard. The wave picked us up and shot us right under the beach. I mean, what a rush. I wanted to go out and do it again, but it was not to be. That was the last time we would be getting into the canoe. I cried when they loaded it up on the trailer and sent it home. The canoe part of the journey was over. We took a bus back to Queets for the protocol, and then came back to Quinault on the 1st to set up camp for the last time.
They call that a punch.
Might be a fire around the boat.
Don't fall in. Yeah, there's an eagle with a fish flying around at about 9 o'clock from you, toward the shore. Something big. Oh, poor little duck.
Poor little duck.
Well, here it is, the 1st of August. We're sitting on the beach. It's just absolutely beautiful here. There's canoes coming in from all over. I did catch a video of a canoe being carried that looks like it's floating on top of people's heads. It was kind of a neat optical illusion there. Now, the tall ships that escorted us, down from Neah Bay didn't put the sails up because they would move too fast. They'd outrun the canoes. But they did put the sails up a little bit there in the when we got to the Quinault, and so I did get a few pictures of that. But most of the time, it was going to protocols and just resting and relaxing. So here's some of the pictures of the beach and some videos, short videos.
I have a very nice view.
What?
I said I have a very nice view of me. Go to bed.
What?
So go to bed.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
Why?
Don't.
Hmm?
Don't. Thank you. That's my honor even. Tell me.
What?
I got it right, I thought. It was a damn terrible game. Who invented this game?
Well, the rest of the week, like I was saying, is mostly relaxing around camp and going up to protocol. Protocol went on 24 hours a day. That's where each tribe comes in and they sing and they dance and they present their gifts. And each tribe takes about anywhere up to couple hours for their time slot. So you go up and you watch protocol for a while, and then you go eat, and then you go back to protocol, and we come down to camp and rest and talk. We always have a family circle at night, and where we just socialize and talk about, the day's events and what we saw, and it's just kind of a recap of each day, and it really meant a lot. So while I was on the beach, I decided to play with my macro and got some real nice close-ups of some shells, feathers, and stuff. And of course, the seagulls were all over the place, and I've got some pretty good video clips and pictures of the seagulls. There was also a rock out in the surf, in the beach bay that had a bunch of birds on it. I think they were pelicans. Yeah, they were pelicans because I remember taking some close-ups of it. And a school of fish or something must have came in because they all seemed to take off all at once. I thought that was pretty neat. I did catch that on video, and there are just hundreds of them. But it was an absolutely beautiful, pristine beach, and like I say, I'd spend some time on the beach, walking up and down, and then I would go up to Protocol, and of course more food. We ate really good during the whole trip. I mean, I had everything from bison to venison to moose. I mean, just all kinds of crabs and stuff, and ate a lot. Of course, then again, I burned a lot of it off as well. So I didn't gain as much weight as I thought I would. But then, like I say, we'd go back and forth up to Protocol and stuff. There's just so much stuff going on all the time that it was kind of hard to take it all in. There's times I felt like a 10-year-old that first time trip to Disneyland. Oh, there's a picture of me and my Protocol, or my regalia. But oh yeah, here we go. Here's the seagulls. I kind of wrote it up as morning rush hour because it just happened to be morning when I saw all these seagulls standing out there by the water, and I mean there was a couple hundred of them at least, and so I stood out there, took some pictures until a vehicle came by and scattered them all, which was okay too because I got some pretty neat aerial photos, of them as well as some videos. So here's some videos of the seagulls. got up that morning, I saw some strange tracks in the sand, so I decided to do some close-ups of the sand and the tracks. It kind of looked like it was, like in a desert or something. Some kind of insect, I don't know. But anyway, went up to protocol that morning, and I saw these beautiful canoes. These were one of the 10 that the Quinault gave away as gifts. Inside, they brought out the welcome statue, all hand-carved wood. It was just absolutely beautiful. And the groups that got the canoes, like there was a youth group, an all-woman crew, and skippers, tribes that didn't have a canoe and stuff like that. It was pretty impressive. But we had one sunny day, so I ran up halfway up the trail and took some pictures of the beach so that you could see it, in the daylight. I mean, the bright light. And it was absolutely beautiful. We only had one day when the fog didn't kind of cloud things in, or cover things up. And then I went back up to protocol, and then I ran across the other side of the cliff there and took some pictures of the beach on the other side. This is kind of a peninsula-like, and I mean, it's just, that whole area was just absolutely beautiful. And I believe the beach normally is closed to the general public, so it was quite an honor to get a chance to camp out on this absolutely beautiful beach. So after I took some pictures of the beach, then I kind of ran back to protocol and took some videos of what was going on. Some of them were kind of short, some of them were kind of long. It just kind of depended on how long I was there. But here's some videos of the actual protocol. Now, we were supposed to do our protocol on the 6th, and then it got changed to the 5th. And then the 4th, when I got up, somebody was running through camp saying we're on in an hour, so everybody was scrambling to get down there for our protocol. And the highlight of it was 3 of my flutes, well, actually 4 of my flutes were given as gifts. My heron went to the Quinault, and my sparrow went to Fort Gamble, and my other orca went to Lower Elwha. Then I have a bear flute that was also given to the Quinault. Did I mention food? Well, we ate good, and this kind of give you an idea of what our typical meal was like. And this particular day, I mean, there was corn, there was crab, there was elk, we had clams, there was fried bread. I mean, it was just, oh, the meals were just unbelievable. And we also had a little bit of dinner music. So this first video that you're going to watch is when my flutes were given as gifts. 3 of my flutes were given as gifts. And then after that, there's more singing and dancing, all the way up to the end when we finally had to call it a night and headed home. And we got home I got home about 3:30 in the morning, the following morning. So, hope you enjoy these videos.
Wow. Why didn't I marry that guy anyway, huh? He saved my life. But anyway, we want you to have we can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough for the things that you've done. And it's lengthy and you're there every time. But anyway, okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having such a nice uncle, okay? And we have another coordinator. If she would come up here, we would just love it. Oh, Harry Corbett. Corwin. Okay, for Carrie Corbett, if you will please take this blanket to her. Bring it up here. Hold in. Take that big closer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cliff Scott is the one that did the flute that was given to Guy, and I hope that you'll be romancing your dear wife when you get very proficient with that, okay? Don't do it before you're good, though. You gotta be good. Okay. Anyway, how about yeah, if the Quinault Tribal Council would please come forward, all of them. But Guy, you can stay seated and also the chairman, but if the rest of them come up here, we sure appreciate it. Or someone to represent them. Two, I'm going to love you in this purse. No. Uh-oh. You're going to have to take one hat off and put this one on. And your name. Pies. Pies is the one that won this basket. No, we don't. No, Pies is the one that Kathy Irwin from Swim made this beautiful, comical hat, and so we'd like to present it to you. Yeah. And for you, dear sir, you look like a drummer to me. My fellow, we're going to give you a drum, and I hope you enjoy the heck out of it. And Jeremy Monson, the tribal member of the Jamestown Nation. Okay, you want to give that to them, please? Jeremy Monson. Okay, we have another one. So, and then we pass it on to another tribal council person. Okay, we have another drum. Where we're going to hear them loud and clear in Bella Bella. Okay, and then we have two paddles also. We want to make sure you get there so you can use your drums and you got your hat. You're all set for next year. Two paddles. Okay, there's 11 on the council, we have 11 guests, so we have 3 more. And these are beautifully beaded necklaces. By Janet Duncan, one of our tribal elders over there. There you go, how about that? Hey, Shaky. Hey, Shaky. Would you please come up here? Yeah, thank you. It's our hereditary chief. Okay. It looks like you're gonna have to do all the dancing and singing, and they'll accompany you, okay? And you get in the canoe, you won't have to work any. All you have to do is dance and sing because they have the paddles and the drums, right? Okay. Shaky, you deserve this. I think that you haven't had any sleep for a long time and you're still moving. Why do they call you Shaky? Oh, he was named after his dad. Yeah, he was named after his hereditary chief. And I hope that keeps you nice and warm with your service. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Okay, Guy, you're going to have to come forward again. Oh, you already got that? I'm sorry. I was wondering how you was going to blow 2 flutes at the same time. Okay, 2 flutes. And you know, while we have people that inspire us from our own community too. Somebody that's always there to drive you. You know, you don't want to go We all love this guy. He helps when you don't have to ask for it. He sees the need. You know, there are some people that are just like that. They see a need and they jump right in there and get it done. Thank you. Glad to know happening. Here's the food. Now you can play us a tune and next time you all get together. Yeah. There you go. Whoa, there it is. That's right. Okay. The other one that really drives you to when you don't feel like being driven anymore. And that's Joe. Okay, Joe from Port Gamble. We adore your ambition and your dedication to our singing and drumming and to your culture. We just want to thank you for all that, Joe. And we know you'll never give up. We just know, and so we're learning as fast as we can. Okay, I'd like to present you with this flute. That ends up the things, this old plate wants some spaghetti, a bunch of lettuce, you know. But anyway, folks, it's just been a wonderful trip, and we just can't say any more. So that's from Jamestown to all of you. Hoi, Quinault. Okay, now we're going to combine and sing a song. That's going to be the love song, and it's going to be dedicated to our dear Andrea. And so I know if we sing it loud enough.
I thought they just got here.
He's been one of our council members and elder representatives for years. He's been a big supporter of culture, and he always has advice for our leadership here and for us young folks. I'd like everybody to sing him a happy birthday. He says he's 65, young. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
ended, but the memories will live on forever. Given the opportunity to feel the pain that the ancestors felt, to see the world through their eyes, and even to greet the tall ships, it's such an honor. And the thing is, it's all real. The dangers are real. The excitement is real. It's something you just cannot simulate. You build a relationship with this canoe family, and that stays with you. Each and every member had a wonderful time, a memorable time, an emotional time, and I know I came back from the journey different. Bone tired, but spiritually charged. And I will remember that for the rest of my life. I only hope that next year when we go to Bella Bella, that I'll have the strength to do it again. Thank you for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the songs and the music and the opportunity to go on the journey with me. Again, Hudson Sun, thank you.